Good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another very exciting session with Desh Kapoor ji. Welcome, Desh.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much, Jaidev.
Yeah. So, Desh, we'll be discussing on a wide variety of topics, and including what's happening in Nepal as well as in the US and India. So, starting with Nepal, Deshi, that the Gen Z protesters, you must have seen on the TV that they vandalized the private residences of President Ramchandra Paudel, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, and chased down Finance Minister Vishnu Prasad. A video surfaced in which Minister Vishnu Prasad was chased on the road and trashed by demonstrators. Former PM Jalanath Kanal's wife was burnt alive after her house was torched. And also, very surprisingly, we saw the Hilton Hotel in Kathmandu, the full building was, torched. It was lit on fire. So, from what it appears, it's a very, very organized mob, right?
Right.
A disorganized mob will, cannot set the whole Hilton building on fire and do all these kind of, atrocious, violent, violence against the former PM and all those things. So it's it's quite apparent, at least from my point of view, that there is the deep state imprint on this whole movement. How do you read this, Dish?
Yeah, I agree with you because, like, what had happened was Donald Lu was there just a few months back. And, there have been a lot of indications that things are not going right in Nepal, right? And over the last few decades, what has happened is that ISI has actually made great inroads into Nepal, and also China has made a lot of inroads. And the for things to change, I mean, the way this whole thing has been orchestrated, it seems to be a normal copybook blueprint from the CIA, because the same thing happened in Bangladesh, the same thing happens in every other country. Wherever the color revolutions happen, the same thing happens. It seems like it is organic and it is random. Random people came together and they started anarchy and all those things. But think about it, how can Gen Z be so organized to go out and be so ruthless to go out and chase down people and thrash them and also kill people and have no remorse whatsoever? It takes a certain kind of ruthlessness and insensitivity to be like that. Gen Z people are not of that age that they can completely insensitize themselves or desensitize themselves to such an extent. It is quite clear that in the garb of, because we saw in Bangladesh as well, there are some idiots who actually get into this whole narrative of change needs to happen, corruption and all those things, because all those neutral people, or at least sensible people, secular people within Bangladesh, the Hindus who actually joined the protest against Sheikh Hasina, later on actually became targets of that same mob which wanted an Islamist country for themselves. So it was going to, they were thinking of making it as a replica of Pakistan. And that is what they have made, that entire country into. I was looking at a video where the Dhaka University students in their classrooms are chanting hijab, hijab, because they want hijab to be made compulsory for all the girl students. So you can imagine what will happen to all the Hindu students, the Hindu girl students, because they will be stalked and molested and killed and raped and all those things. The thing is that same blueprint with almost the same kind of characters, in the sense that ISI, Islamists and all those things, probably have also been used in Nepal. Now, like I think good thing that has happened is that the Nepalese army has come in and taken charge, and I think the new like leader which has emerged, Sushila Karki. Like she at least seems to be more pro India. Now I see this like why would US do it, and how could it have uh, toned down the entire control that China also had. I think they have used the ISI to the hilt, and there is a perceptible change of direction within Pakistan towards the US, away from China. Because for US, this becomes as one of the basis for them, quote unquote, base for themselves to actually look at China as well as India, take care of both the countries. So that's what they're trying to do. The same thing they tried to do in Bangladesh. They were successful. Sri Lanka, here, Pakistan. So you're right. This has a lot of deep state links. At least the symbolism and the modus operandi, the way it was done, the professionalism with which it was done. Because you're talking about the Hilton Hotel, it is not easy to burn down an entire hotel. Like it takes
Yeah.
a lot of know-how to actually do this to that kind of a hotel. So so I think it's a very professional job that was done. In the like in terms of a regime change operation. So the only thing is that if India was preparing for this or was ready for this, because I've heard one of the ex-raw officers say sometime in August that within the next 1 month there will be a regime change and there'll be riots in Nepal. So if he knew, I'm quite sure that Raw also knew that. So if they were prepared, then they would have actually, pushed the right buttons to have the right kind of people who will take over. So I think there is a push. Anyways, we have talked about it like in the last episode of how they want to change Modi ji from India, because that's what they want. See, interestingly, what's happening is that in my last newsletter that I sent out on Sunday, when I was actually researching for it, I suddenly stumbled upon a very interesting chain of actions that were happening. In country after country in Europe, they are actually coming out with booklets that are saying what to do when a war comes. In fact, the French Ministry of Health has actually issued directives to their hospitals that they need to prepare their infrastructure and their supplies for a major war escalation by next year, by March of 2026. That's not a normal thing. And they are saying the casualties could be as high as 50,000. So French health ministry is saying that, and country after country is doing that. And today, Poland actually, brought down the Russian drones like as well. So there seems to be a push towards a war, and war happening really quickly. If they are looking for war happening really quickly, especially against Russia, with China backing, the one thing that they do not want is a country like India being an unknown variable, because that's what it is right now for them, for the CIA, right? So they don't want an independent India, an independent the Indian subcontinent, because they need to have the presence here to actually tackle both China and Russia. So they will use the entire Indian subcontinent population as cannon fodder in that war. So that's their aim. So if that is where they are going, with all the indications that the European countries are giving, it seems that they are preparing for something really major happening.
Yeah, so some things I don't understand, Desh, is that the Nepali intelligence, they didn't do a good job. They didn't oversee this happening, or was there some lapse in intelligence in the Nepal government?
Mm, I won't say there was a lapse of intelligence, because I'm sure if India knew, they would have also known. It's just that they did not have the full capability to handle this. And there are, within Nepal, within their armed services and within their bureaucracy and their politics, there are different factions. There are factions which are aligned to India. There are factions which are aligned to China. There are factions which have probably been also co-opted by US or other forces also. So if that is true, then everybody would be playing their card. See, like everybody is saying that something very similar could have happened in India uh, during the CAA thing. And if you go back to the 1980s and 1990s, when VP Singh was there, something very similar happened, right? There were regime changes every few months. There was huge Mandal Commission thing, and like suddenly things started changing, right? Now, for to do that kind of thing in India, you like need to have a very weak government. But if you have a very strong government, it's very very tough to actually make it happen like this, because and if they have control over their intelligence and their bureaucracy, the way Modi ji has over at the bureaucracy right now. Now they didn't have. I don't think Nepal's power center is so strong. And in a way, I think everybody, whether it is China, it is India, it is US, everybody was hedging their bets, because they have. There was this, strategy called the Clover Piven strategy. There were two professors who came up with this, and their philosophy is that put so much of stress on the entire system that anarchy follows, and once anarchy follows, things will change. Then you can take control of the things. So they were leftists, and that's what they try to do almost every year. So all the color revolutions, the Wall Street, uh, you know, the agitation of protests that happened in the US and all those things, they were all copybook. In fact, like one of the professors, I think Piven, actually visited the Wall Street protesters. So so the same thing that is what they are following here, right? So everybody is hedging their bets and trying to see where the chips will fall, and they have their own, uh, you know, like uh, like pieces in place to take control of things. Now it remains to be seen who will actually ultimately get the prize, right? I think that is like that. That's where they are going actually. So basically, when I look at it, I don't think it was like somebody missed it. I think everybody knew it. It's just that some people could do something, some people could not do something. How much they could do, how much agency they had, that's what decides who will win in the end.
Yeah, also the fact that it's quite obvious that the way the so-called Gen Z in Nepal, the mindset, it's quite obvious that they are, heavily funded by some, foreign organization, because without money, I don't see, how they, will react in such a violent manner, killing people and torching, buildings and everything. So it's quite apparent that a huge, amount of money has been funded to these Gen Z protesters. Do you think so?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because that's the modus operandi of all these people. Because they see these days it's very easy, especially with the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency thing going on, right? And I'm sure that the way the crypto deal was done, like one of the uh, main objective would have been this, to route the money through Pakistan in a way that all these things could be done. So that's what they have been trying to do. I'm sure that they would be trying to do this almost similar things in India, because they would be, now it's become easier to finance all these kind of forces without anybody understanding, without anybody knowing, because it is off the books, it's off the record. So that way it would be very, very tough to actually find a trace, trace the whole thing uh, in a preemptive fashion. So I think with the crypto deal done, the coffers of the ISI and all those people would be like, would have some money to do all these things.
Yeah. So also, Deshji, with Nepal Prime Minister KP Oli stepping down, and there is attention is shifted to Kathmandu's young mayor Balendra Shah, as online campaigns promote him as a Himalayan nation's next leader, and he's known as Balin, the 35-year-old rapper turned politician. So apparently, he studied in Visvesvaraya Technological University in Karnataka, and he holds a degree in civil engineering. So, so do you think he will be put as head of affairs, just like how Zelensky, as a comedian, became
Yeah,
head
yeah,
of
that's what
affairs
I
in
was
Ukraine?
thinking. That like he seems to be the next Zelensky, and I would hope that you know he is not like he's not the guy who actually becomes the main leader. It is somebody who's more aligned to India, who becomes the main leader, because what is happening is like it can take Nepal into a direction which can be extremely bad for India, because that's what they'll try to do, especially because of the porous border that India and Nepal has. And this is one of those dreams that ISI may have had, of how to take control of Nepal in a way that they can infiltrate all kinds of terrorists through the Nepal border. And that's what I'm really worried about. So as far as this guy is concerned, who's a mayor of Kathmandu, uh, I hope that there is somebody more responsible, and not just a rapper who just because he has a certain recognition, so he can become the next Zelensky. And like, we know what Zelensky has been up to. Basically he's corrupt, and that's what these guys become. So all this moralistic stands of corruption and all these things, they're actually nonsensical, because ultimately at the end of the day, if you were really trying to fight corruption, and like what you actually did was go out and start torching your hotels and buildings and all these things, then you are the number one corrupt person. And that's what the Gen Z is like, if they were Gen Z. Because I mean, like, one, I didn't think they were Gen Z because from the face of it, from all the pictures, they hardly look like Gen Z. And second, Gen Zs could not have orchestrated all these things. Um, so I hope that this lady Sushila Karki can actually uh, start something in a direction which is much better than what Muhammad Yunus could do. And I like my one of the positive things I see is that the Nepali army has taken over. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah. So, Basically, coming to the next point is that Rahul Gandhi was seen visiting Malaysia recently. And so, many people say that, whenever he visits a foreign country, something, some big incident or unfortunate incident happens in India or elsewhere. Yeah. So, what do you make of, his frequent trips outside India? And is there something more to it?
Yeah, see, the thing is, he is a tool, right? So if you look at the entire, Operation Zeppelin that Mossad did on Hindenburg, it was quite clear that the entire Hindenburg thing was actually orchestrated through the home of the Overseas Congress, Sam Pitroda, in Chicago or Illinois, and so they have been working with the deep state, and like he was told when he had gone to Stanford that we'll take care of Adani, like that's what he was told. So that is why he came back and he started all that rhetoric that he did. Now he would be, all these people, all these forces have been trying to do something or the other in trying to bring down Modi ji. They haven't been able to do that because I think he is two steps ahead of everyone. Everyone criticized him the way he handled the CAA and NRC and Shine Bagh and all those things. But in a way, the way he did it actually was the most brilliant way of handling those kind of things. Yes, everybody felt that he should have been stronger and more forceful. But had he been forceful and had even one person died through the police encounter or police shooting or like anything like that, then that would have really erupted, and that entire mob would have gone towards the parliament or actually the low Kalyan Mark. So the way he handled it was that he actually gave them enough rope so they could go and hang themselves, because that's what they did. After some time, everybody got sick and tired of all those Shaheen Bagh, force like folks out there, and they became a joke. At the end of the whole thing, they became a joke for all the things that they had done. The good thing is that all the people who were associated with them actually came out and joined them and made all kind of statements and came out. That was one of the most fantastic opportunity to actually do surveillance on them, to catch them. So instead of being defensive and like very like not very forceful kind of a like leader, actually Narendra Modi came out to be the smarter leader, because that's what they did. They were obviously trailing everyone who was involved in all these things, and they got enough of information and data and forensics and also links that they could follow later on, because that's what they did. Give them enough time and don't let that whole thing erupt, and contain that in a certain area, and then start surveilling them, because that's what they have done. And so as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, he Malaysia is actually a like very strong hold for ISI. All these people, Dawood Ibrahim and all these people, Zakir Naik and all these people, they have been in Malaysia, right? So, and they keep going there. All Chota Rajan and all these people, they have been in Malaysia. Everybody knows that, right? So that state, that country is like that. So I'm sure that there would be something cooking up, and with this closeness that is happening between Pakistan army, the ISI, and the Trump administration, something must be cooking up. And the the only thing that I can say is that Mr. Doval and Mr. Modi would be working on how to counter that, and it'll be again non-intuitive kind of handling of things, but it will do the job that needs to be done.
Yeah, also, Deshi, we had the vice presidential election, just a few days back, and 25 MPs from the Indie bloc voted for CP Radhakrishnan, and so NDA's total strength was 427, but it got 452. So
Right.
Rahul Gandhi has a huge problem there as well. That uh, the cross voting, his own indie block. Oh,
See, the thing is, like, if you, like, I think when after Operation Sindoor, when Modi ji had, requested so many MPs, opposition MPs, to go out and talk for India and represent India, I think he had checkmated the India alliance. That move, one move, kind of created a lot of resentment or a lot of, friction or shifting of the tectonic plates in all these parties, right? So those people even today are with the government when it comes to security, which is not something that Rahul Gandhi or the rest of people are doing. So in a way, there are fissures within their party itself. So that's what has been created. The uh, the gap and the chasm between, like, within their party, has already been created by this that entire representation that went out to talk about the Operation Sindoor. So I think in the last few and they were actually, I don't know how many, like, were there uh, like, I think around 10, 15 or so, who actually like did not even do it correctly. They were invalidated, their votes. Now uh, that is unimaginable. I don't think that would have happened. I think there were, like, people who actually deliberately did that. So I think like, in a way, it almost seems like there is a lobby. There are certain people who are actually sick and tired of the direction that Congress and the rest of the opposition is following, and then they don't see a future now, because after one election cycle more, I mean, like when the next election comes in and the BJP and the NDA wins, their life is over. Their political life, they won't have any political life. So, and if there is somebody like Yogi ji who comes, then they can forget, anything happening for them. So they are seeing the entire capitulation of the entire political system, of their entire political heritage, right in front of them. So obviously there are a few people who still have some conscience left. They are the ones who would have actually voted, done the cross voting. So I think it's good. Like, in a way, I feel that people from Congress as well as people from Tamil Nadu actually would have crossed over.
yeah. Also, we spoke about Savio Rodriguez. He said regarding Operation 37
Right.
and how 37 MPs from BJP is said to be in contact with the CIA. So the CIA obviously wants Modi ji removed at any cost and a possible regime change. So with regards to this, do you think that they will do more things like how they are doing in Nepal? They'll do some more things going ahead.
Yeah, definitely. So they won't stop, and things will become tougher, as far as Modi ji is concerned. And I think and the reason why, like I told you, that it just doesn't make any sense for me about what Europe is trying to do. If Europe is preparing for war by actually fear mongering that war is going to happen and we need to prepare for war and all this, they do not have the weapons, they do not have the wherewithal to actually fight Russia. Russia has the kind of weapons that nobody else has today. Missiles like Oreshnik or Satan 2 that they have are extremely devastating. If they want, they can actually destroy Europe. I don't know why they would be doing that, but if that is the route that they are going, if that is the direction that they want to go, then the only insurance that they can have is that an India without Modi ji. So that is why it seems that CIA has taken this job of removing Modi ji in the next 12 months. So in the next 12 months, the danger is not over. So they would be trying their level best, because if you really look at it, in the last few months and last couple of years, India has probably been their biggest Waterloo as far as CIA is concerned. The biggest defeat when it comes to regime change operations. Nothing has worked. They've tried everything. Nothing has worked, which would be something that would actually inspire books within the intelligence community going forward, because how India actually countered all these things, because it has not been done anywhere. If you see what is happening in France today and like what is happening in other places, it is very, very tough to actually, once that level of operations are unleashed with all the forces that they have around you, it's very tough to actually counter them. But that is exactly what has happened. So going forward, I don't see the danger to be over until the war actually starts. So I would give 1 year for all that to happen. And because if India stands in the same place as China and Russia, then there is no way West or US can actually ever win that kind of war. And one other thing is that I feel it is because of this, because of the kind of operations that the CIA and the other deep state have been trying to do within India. That was a reason why actually it was a fantastic, brilliant idea for Modi ji to go and join hands with China, because now to uh, to ensure that their interests, geopolitical interests, are taken care of, it is imperative for China to ensure that Modi ji is there.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the opposition has easily been sold by now, and they know it. See, there is a very interesting thing I'll tell you, because this whole discussion with China actually started with that letter, a secret letter that Xi Jinping sent to Draupadi Murmu to push for a dialogue. The question that we should ask is, why did he send the letter to Draupadi Murmu and not Modi ji? He wanted to talk to Modi ji, right? Why would he send it to Draupadi Murmu, and that to a secret letter? Is it because he was trying to say that you have a mole in your PMO? Because I think a lot of things have happened. More indications have been given by China that they are willing to work with India than people out, from the public information can even know. I think there is something deeper, more substantive going on between China and India, which we are not privy to. But there is something substantive actually coming through.
Yeah. So, Desh, now that Donald Trump has recently said that he wants a whole reset with the relationship with India. and he wants to finalize a trade deal. And suddenly Donald Trump has completely changed his outlook again. And it is quite obvious that he has realized something big, and he has been pressurized, by the whole corporate world or something like that. So meanwhile, Peter Navarro has threatened that it won't end well for India if Delhi doesn't come around at some point. So you have this good cop bad cop thing going on. So
Right. See, the thing is, that is what frustrates me about the entire media in the West, because they have been talking about it as if it was a trade deal, and that 25% extra, like tariff for buying Russian oil, that has actually pushed Modi ji towards, or India towards, China and Russia. It's not that. It's actually the pivot of US towards Pakistan in such a big way, right? Because so look at it this way: the WLF and the Pakistan Crypto Council deal happened on April 26th. The Pahalgam attack happened on April 22nd. So just 4 days after that, they did a deal. But before that, I think it was in early April that, like actually in March, the Pakistani Crypto Council was set up. I think in mid March, probably 15th or something like that. And the CEO of the Pakistani Crypto Council became the advisor to WLF in early April. So if I take the April 22nd and the April 26th date, I can say it is in the realm of coincidence. That, oh wow, like what a coincidence that this happened. But when you add the first two dates also to this whole picture, then it moves from realm of coincidence to realm of being fishy. Something is off. Did they know or didn't they know? Because if they did not know, if Donald Trump and the administration did not know that Pahalgam was going to happen, then CIA has a lot to answer, because the president of the United States was doing a deal with a person and with forces who were going to do mass murder of Hindus, because that's what they did. So CIA should have seen this, like seen this coming, and if they didn't, then somebody should be asking them questions. So that is one thing. And so if you like see how these guys have been doing things after that, how Asim Munir went there, who's a mass murderer of Hindus. He went to White House twice, not just once, twice. That is what has created the entire bad blood between US and India, not just a trade deal. Trade deal, we can, like things can be worked out, things can be negotiated. But this kind of betrayal, this kind of actions, they are in the area where you just cannot ignore them. You can't work with this kind of these kind of actions. So I think just as Trump is playing his like this good cop card, like I think Modi ji is also playing the good cop card. Like fantastic. I also want to reciprocate everything. So as far as like Peter Navarro is concerned and the rest of the administration people are concerned, they are trying to whip up things against the Indian Americans as well as India. So they are using that as a proxy. So they will keep on doing this because, see, the economy here in the US is not going anywhere. In the positive direction, it is going in the negative direction in the coming months. So if that is what is happening, then these kind of things actually play up to the base, and it helps him. So I think that's what he's trying to do, trying to whip up things for the base to be really happy about. Even when the inflation is increasing, things are going bad in terms of economy because tariff has not helped. I mean, the inflation is crazy right now.
Right. So, Desh, coming to the last story, is a very shocking story that Charlie Kirk, a 31-year-old conservative political activist and close ally of Donald Trump, was shot dead while speaking at Utah Valley University on Thursday. And it was a single gunshot was fired, striking him in the neck. And this is a very shocking incident, isn't it?
Yeah. Charlie Kirk had been doing these kind of tours at the universities where he would talk to all the folks, the students, kind of provoke them, ask them to ask him questions and have a debate for last few years actually. In fact, last year he did this kind of a tour with Vivek Ramaswamy. I've seen those videos as well, and they were pretty strong, argumentative, but they were very smart, and they knew how to handle all those questions. And it was very, very tough for those people who were trying to pin them down or to beat them in debate to actually get anywhere. So this kind of attack is extremely serious in it, like at least my view, because it can actually trigger a much larger anarchy kind of situation within the US. Because see, the thing is, the Republican, especially the MAGA kind of Congress people, have already started saying that this murder was actually on the Democratic Party. They are the ones who actually made it happen. And in like many ways, I think that is a kind of distrust and mistrust that whoever is committing this, whether it's a deep state, whether it was somebody else, because like we have discussed, right? Deep state is not monolithic. There are different layers and tiers of that. Even within those tiers, there are different competing interests. So I would say that, like when we talk deep state, right now there are competing deep states within the US. So so there is a set of forces which want something to blow up, and I think they are. This was in that kind of direction, almost very similar to what happened, for Trump. He was saved, like by like divine intervention or whatever it was. But this guy, unfortunately, he was really brilliant. I mean, I've heard what how he debated. It's extremely sad that he lost his life like this, and it can actually, along with that murder that recently happened of that Ukrainian lady, just because like she was white and a black guy did it. And the kind of emotions that this is triggering, because these are like incidents that are happening. It almost seems like somebody is trying to orchestrate the extreme right within, or the far right like within the US, to start some kind of action. And it'll probably be worse than what happened on Jan 6th. And when this kind of action actually starts or happens, I don't think the Trump administration would try to stop it, or at least be as strong on it as some other like administration would have been. So so it's very like it's a harbinger of like something worse starting very, very soon.
Yeah. So, Desh, that was a very wonderful session, and we will see you once again next week.
Thank
Until
you.
then, thanks for coming, and Jai Hind and Jai Shri
Jai
Ram.
Jai Hind. Jai Shri Ram. Thank you.